Good morning, everyone. I'm Acting Staff Sergeant Jennifer Trimble of the Public Information Office. Thank you for joining us as we provide an update into the sexual assault investigations that occurred in Brampton this past month. Today we are joined by Peel Regional Police Deputy Nick Milinovich of the Investigative Emergency Services Command, Superintendent David Kennedy, Investigative Services, Chair Nando Yanika of the Peel Police Service Board, and Inspector Dave Sedgwick, Investigative Services Major Crime Unit of York Regional Police. At the conclusion of this press conference, there will be an opportunity for questions. Please keep in mind that this is an ongoing investigation and some details cannot be shared to ensure future court proceedings are not compromised. A media release will be issued shortly after the conclusion of the news conference, which will also include images. A full video of this conference will be made available on the Peel Regional Police YouTube channel, which can be accessed from our website. I now invite Chair Nando Yanika to the podium. Chair.
Well, thank you very much and good morning, everyone. I'm Nando Yanika. I'm Chair and CEO of the Region of Peel, and I have the privilege of being the Chair of the Police Services Board here in Peel. So thank you very much for joining us today. As Chair of the Police Services Board here in Peel, I want to begin by acknowledging the bravery and strength of the victims who came forward to report these heinous crimes. Their courage was instrumental in enabling Peel Regional Police and our partners to take decisive action. I would like to extend my gratitude to Peel Regional Police's Specialized Victims Unit and our partners at York Regional Police for their relentless dedication to this investigation, which has culminated in the arrest of a suspect believed to be responsible for a series of stranger sexual assaults that have shaken our community. The collaboration between our police services highlights the shared commitment to ensuring that the safety and security of the people that we serve is uppermost. The disturbing nature of these incidents remind us of why policing must remain vigilant and proactive. Our officers work tirelessly to identify and apprehend the suspect, demonstrating their unwavering commitment to justice. We are mindful of the lasting impact such crimes have on our victims and their families and our broader communities. So while further details will be provided by Deputy Chief Nick Milinovich, I wanted to reiterate the Board's continuing support for the work Peel Regional Police does in their mission to maintain public safety and trust. And one last thought I'll leave you with. I'm incredibly privileged in so many ways, this opportunity that my colleagues and the public has given me. And one of the great privileges I have is you get to meet with fine officers like this a few minutes in advance in the green room. And the conversation you don't hear is the one where they're talking about how this mattered so much to them. This wasn't a job and I got to get out 9 and 5 and what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to try. The passion with this meant so much to them that we've got to get these bad people off the streets, because this was vile what was transpiring here, and they almost take it personally, and the tremendous detective investigative work as well. But a real shout out to the people that made this happen, because it is a job well done and devotion above and beyond the cause, and I want to thank them on behalf of Peel Regional Police and the tremendous cooperation with York as well. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Chair. I really appreciate those comments. Today we are here to share relief with our community, as well as the details of an investigation which included a suspect in a series of violent sexual assaults. They took place in Peel and York regions between November 8th and November 16th. Joining me today is Superintendent David Kennedy from our Special Victims Unit, and our entire investigative team that was tasked with investigating this series of sexual assaults. We also have Inspector Dave Sedgwick from the York Regional Police. On the morning of November 8th, an adult female was waiting at a bus stop in the area of Countryside Drive and Bramalea Road in Brampton. At that time, a black 4-door sedan approached her, and the driver identified themselves as a rideshare service offering a ride. That female was waiting at that bus stop to go to work. She was then driven to the area of Highway 27 and Nashville Road in the City of Vaughan, where she was sexually assaulted. On the same day, an adult female was waiting at a bus stop in the area of Goreridge Crescent and via Romano Way in the city of Brampton. The same black four-door sedan approached her and identified themselves again as a rideshare service operator offering a ride. The female was then driven to the area of Highway 50, south of Gore Road, in the city of Brampton, where once again, that survivor was sexually assaulted. That survivor was waiting at that bus stop to go to school. On the morning of Saturday, November 16th, an adult female victim, again waiting at a bus stop in the area of Airport Road and Humberwest Parkway in Brampton, was approached by a four-door sedan, again being offered a ride. The female was driven to the area of Countryside Drive, just west of Airport Road, where she, too, was sexually assaulted. During the investigation, information around these incidents and the suspect was collected and shared through several public safety advisories. The information that was collected included details around their language, which was that the male spoke both English and Punjabi. We issued those public safety advisories in both of those languages to ensure that the people that were being affected and targeted by these crimes would be aware. We understand that reporting a sexual assault is difficult, and on behalf of our chief and our police service, we want to reassure our community and residents that we have the prerequisite supports and services available to ensure that victims are safe and comfortable in reporting their experiences. Our police service works closely with services at the Safe Center of Peel and Victim Services of Peel, which has a 24/7 crisis line that can be reached at 905-568-1068. At our service, we understand that incidents like these carry significant impacts for the survivors and for the community. Crimes like this carry devastating effects for both. And the people that commit these crimes have no place in our community. We will continue to do everything possible to combat sexual and gender-based violence and hold those who are responsible accountable. I would also like to thank our Special Victims Unit for their dedication to this investigation. As you heard from the chair, their decisive and swift action in identifying and arresting the suspect has absolutely made our community safer. That action, combined with the courage of the survivors who reported these offenses, has resulted in other people being prevented other offenses and has resulted in other people who will not be victims of this type of activity. In closing, I would like to remind everyone to not accept any unsolicited rides or services. Again, on behalf of our police service, we are committed to ensuring that gender-based violence, and the reality is, on behalf of our entire region, this week we kicked off the Break the Silence campaign, which is a campaign aimed towards increasing education, aimed at prevention, and really addressing the issues of gender-based violence. It cannot and will not be accepted in Peel Region. Thank you, and I'll pass it back to Sergeant Tribble.
Thank you, Deputy. We will now open the floor up for questions. If you could please use the microphones located at either end of the cameras here so that we can hear you properly. I would appreciate that. Please go ahead.
Oh, hi, Shauna with City News. Sorry, I just want to clarify, was an arrest made in these sexual assaults? And can you talk a bit about how the suspect was located and how that arrest went down?
Sorry.
My apologies. Absolutely. On November 20th, Arshdeep Singh, a 22-year-old man from Brampton, was arrested in London, Ontario, and charged with multiple counts of sexual assault and criminal code offenses. This included sexual assault with a weapon, sexual assault by strangulation, robbery, 3 counts of kidnapping and 2 counts of utter threats. And to answer the second part of your question, how the arrest was made, I have to say it was made based out of support from our community in response to the public safety advisory that we did, but also the dedication and the commitment, as you heard from the chair and I reiterated, of the investigative team that you see behind us. They demonstrated the gold standard in investigations, and we're committed to finding the person responsible and for preventing them from harming other people in our community.
Nama Weingarten, CBC News. At this point, do you believe there could be more victims?
Absolutely. Based on our investigation, the way that the accused was operating, we definitely believe there are other victims, and we're concerned that they haven't come forward yet, which, I would like to thank all of our partners from the media in providing us this platform. That's one of the things that we're hoping from this press conference. Very clear what his modus operandi was. He would approach South Asian females in their early 20s and offer rideshare services. So absolutely, we do believe there are other victims, and this investigation is ongoing and will continue.
Hello, officer. This is Jaspreet from Omni News. So I have a clarification question. So that suspect is associated with any rideshare companies like Uber or Lyft, or he's just voluntarily offering the rides?
He was not associated with any rideshare operators. It was just part of his approach and how he was operating.
Good morning, Courtney Heels with CB24. You mentioned the suspect is from London. Are you able to share any more details on that? Is the belief the suspect would drive here from London to sexually assault these victims, or was he hiding in that area?
He was arrested in London from Brampton, and as I understand it, an international student.
I also wanted to follow up on the strangulation charge. Forgive me, I didn't get all of the wording on that, but is your belief the suspect strangled one of the victims as part of the sexual assault then?
So the strangulation charge is accompanied by strangulation. It's fairly straightforward, and this is one of the reasons why, from the first incident, this team behind me was pulled together and really worked around the clock. These were incredibly violent, reprehensible acts perpetrated against our community, and the charges, they're shocking, but they are representative of what happened.
Courtney, if I could, I wanted to follow up on that because it's very disturbing, the information that we get at the police service. But the fact of the matter is that every day a woman is strangled in Peel. Every day, almost always an intimate partner. And on the week where we acknowledge that, I want to double back and thank the women that had the courage in this instance to come forward. And we need women to keep coming forward and letting us, we know these incidents are happening. We are here. These people are here to protect you. So again, I'm so grateful to the media for giving us this platform to speak to that. We are aware of what's going on. We will do something about it, and we commend the women that are coming forward to help us do something about it. Thank you very much for that question.
Hi, Jérémy Bergeron from Radio-Canada. So you spoke a bit about the fact that the guy that was arrested could speak Punjabi and English. Was he targeting some people of a specific community?
He was targeting young South Asian females in their early 20s.
Hi. You mentioned that he was an international student and was arrested in London. Did he go to school in London, or did he go to school in this area?
In terms of, I'll maybe pass it over to the investigative team, but I can tell you he did not go to school in London. He was there visiting associates of his. And again, the investigation led them to London, where they were able to identify a location for him and ultimately arrest him. But I don't know if the investigative team would like to speak about, maybe Superintendent David Kennedy, about his schooling.
Thank you, Deputy, and good morning. I appreciate the question. The investigation did, as way of a background, allow us to ascertain that the accused, Mr. Singh, was here as an international student. We are still unpacking whether or not Mr. Singh went to school, and if so, where he did. But we don't have any information right now that would suggest he went to school in London.
Another unrelated question, but November has been declared Intimate Partner Violence Month, Awareness Month. I'm just wondering what Peel Police is doing specifically to address this issue.
So I can certainly take that question. We are absolutely aware, and it's such an important month for us to recognize and provide support to all victims of intimate partner violence. Peel Regional Police has one of the most robust investigative processes and in the country when it comes to intimate partner violence. We are the lighthouse, one of the lighthouse agencies. We work with 24 partners right now in a process at our Safe Center Appeal up at 60 West in Brampton, which is revolutionary on the way that we can provide wraparound services and support to survivors of intimate partner violence. I know, and I can speak from our police service and certainly on behalf of our chair, that we are exceptionally proud of that, and we are consistently getting phone calls from other agencies, both provincially, internationally, and nationally, about what we are doing here. So I am very proud of the work that we are doing in the space, and certainly to support victims and survivors of intimate partner violence. And we have an exceptionally robust team, and beyond that, we continue to work with our community partners, as good as it is, to make it better.
The only thing I would maybe add to that, and Dave's done a great job of explaining some of our investment in that space, is we've recognized the value of the approach we've taken and the value of having an integrated response in Safe Center, and are currently planning on expanding into Mississauga. Since we changed our service model delivery, we've seen an increase in over 200% of walk-ins without referrals to our partners that police are then able to support and investigate. And that's certainly something that we want to deliver to Mississauga as well.
And I'm also going to add, because again, I appreciate following up on this subject because it's so important. Reading the media this morning, like many of you did, the issue came up in the legislature about intimate partner violence. Peel declared it an emergency 2 years ago, and then gave us the resources for the police services to do something about it. My vice chair, Samita Kohli, was recently at a community cultural event and was having a conversation like this. Women approach saying, now that we know there is a mechanism to listen to us and to help us, they're coming forward. We can refer them to these individuals that we're resourcing to do something about it. So that's the main message for today. We put one bad guy, still to be determined through the courts, away. There's many more. We need your help, and we're here to assist you, and we will put more bad guys away. Thank you.
Oh, hi. This is another question about the suspect. Do we know how long he's been in the country for? Knowing that he's an international student. Has he been here long?
Hi, Sean, and thanks for the question. Our background, which we would do in any investigation like this, has revealed that the suspect did come to Canada in December of 2022 on a student visa.
Okay, and final question for me at least. One of the charges is assault with a weapon. Can you disclose what weapon that was? Was it a gun, a knife, something else?
That's part of the investigation that we're actually going to just hold back on for the moment. Obviously, we have evidence to support that charge, and as we are going to be connecting potentially with future victims and survivors, we're going to hold that back.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Hi, good morning. Momin Qureshi from 680 News. You mentioned the survivors coming forward and how important that was. There's obviously multiple survivors in this case. Can you just talk about the process of when one came forward? How did you know that there was more? How did that whole situation kind of unfold?
I can say it happened very dynamically. And obviously the first instance and occurrence, we were very taken aback by. It was very concerning to us. But as the investigation continues to evolve, by virtue of the canvas, by virtue of contacting people by going flooding the area to try to get a sense of where the offenses were taking place. All of that happens very quickly, and we began to speak to people. Our media release and our public awareness bulletin also generated leads for us, which was great. And we always, as the deputy said, we're grateful to the assistance of our community. We cannot possibly do this by ourselves, and to have 1.5 or 1.6 billion people working with us is really profound.
And just to follow up, I know it was briefly touched on, but just in general, what's your advice to people? People are using rideshare apps more than ever now. I know there's safety precautions people need to take. What is your kind of general overall advice for people?
As Deputy Milinovich mentioned, you have to be vigilant. If it seems like it's too good to be true, just like with any other thing, it usually is. Ride shares offer a technical connectivity for a person to solicit a ride. If that doesn't exist, the person who is being solicited should ask questions of themselves and the person who has approached them. So I would say, if it doesn't come by virtue of the service itself, if you aren't getting messages on your phone, if it isn't being tracked, we all know the way rideshare services operate. If there is a departure from what is regular and what is normal, the person should absolutely be concerned and should absolutely not solicit a ride and take a ride.
Hi, I'm Zura Jabril with CP24. You mentioned that there were 3 survivors of the sexual assault and most likely more victims. What resources is Peel Regional Police providing for the survivors that did come forward?
Thank you for the question. And I'm happy to invite Superintendent David Kennedy back up to speak. But, Peel Regional Police recognizes that just because an arrest has been made, that the investigation is not over, but certainly supporting our victim isn't. We're connected and connect them with victim services. There's a variety of support services that are available to the survivors that come forward. And, when you wrap this and bundle it up, the purpose of that is to try to reduce some of the trauma that the person's already gone through. And, the reality is we take a victim-centric approach. And I'll scrap the victim and say survivor-centric approach. So we will continue to be with our survivors to support them through the court process and do everything that we can, either through services directly available to us or through advocacy on their behalf to make sure that they're looked after.
Hi, Nama, CBC News again. I guess I just wanted to get some clarity. So you're mentioning this guy's here on a student visa. He was in London to meet associates. I mean, is there anything to indicate that he's actually enrolled in a school, or is he working here? And I guess as a follow-up to that, are there any federal authorities now involved, federal affairs, the border, anyone in terms of, what happens to this guy next?
I think I caught most of that question. Sorry about the background noise. So the arrest was made in London. We did do the background. It did reveal things to us with respect to his status as being on a student visa. We continue to work with our partners, both within the sector, as we had in London with respect to the arrest, and outside. Conversations are ongoing with border services, with immigration, and those those agencies to get us a better understanding of, the male status and where we go from here.
And where is he from?
I don't have that information. I'm being told India.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming today and giving us the opportunity to speak to you. We do appreciate your time, and thank you very much. The media release will be out shortly.